Foundation PD Health at Home Fitness Fridays. My name is Craig-Bowden and I am a physical therapist for Premier Health Atrium Medical Center and a co-instructor of our Parkinson's Wellness Program in Lebanon, Ohio at the Countryside YMCA.
My name is Julie Hensley and I'm a physical therapist assistant and a co-instructor of our program here. Today we will be doing a strength and balance combination workout, and it is recommended to do this type of workout 2 to 3 times a week. So thanks for joining us today for one of your sessions. You will need a pair of light to medium weights, and if you should need a chair for some modifications or just something to hold on to for balance, have that ready to go as well. I'll be starting by showing the modified version of the exercises, and about halfway through we'll switch and then Katie will show the modified version. If you're ready, let's get started.
All right, we're going to start with our warm-up. We're going to start in our chair, and we're going to start with a cat-cow just to start to get the spine moving and ready to exercise. So to start to come into that cat position, you're going to bring that chin down towards your chest. You're going to kind of round those shoulders, arch your back, kind of press those hands into your knees and get a nice stretch through those back muscles. And then slowly kind of roll up through your spine, bring those shoulders back, chest up, and extend that upper back, squeeze those shoulder blades. Let's do that again. Bring that chin down towards your chest, round those shoulders, flex that spine segment by segment, press those hands into your knees to get that extra stretch, and then come up nice and tall segment by segment, rolling those shoulders back, bringing that chest up high. One more time for our warm-up here. Chin down, roll those shoulders forward, segment by segment, arch that back, and then come up nice and tall, roll those shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades nice and tall. Great job. I'm going to stand up for the next part of our warm-up. So we're going to start here with an arm raise and extend. Warming up those shoulders, getting some good mobility and good reach. And now I want to add a raise up on the toes as you reach up. Come back onto the heels as you reach back. So you're shifting those weight through the feet, starting to work a little bit on balance. Your ankles are your first line of defense for losing your balance and falling. Great. And then I want you to bring your hands together in front of you. You're going to bring them out wide, squeezing those shoulder blades behind you. Really opening up that chest, getting a good stretch through those pec muscles in the front. And then let's add a tap with the heel as you open up wide. Straightening the knee, elongating that hamstring. And let's do 2 more. And last one. All right, we're gonna come back into that chair to start here. You're gonna sit at the edge of your seat with a nice tall posture to start. Get those feet underneath of you. You wanna hinge through your hips, press through those heels, strong into that stand. And as you return, kind of nose over your knees, hips go back into the chair. Let's do that again. Nice powerful stance, press through those heels. As you can see, Julie is here as modifying for you if standing from the chair is a little difficult without using your hands. Now for these last 5 reps, I want you to reach overhead, kind of continuing that shoulder warm up. Reach really high through those fingertips. Let's do 2 more. Then we'll be ready to work out. And last one. Big sweep with the arms, reach to the ceiling. All right, awesome. We are ready for our workout. So grab those light weights. We're gonna start in that chair. So we started our warm up with that sit to stand, and we are gonna add some resistance to it. So we're gonna stand, same as we did in that warm up. You're gonna hinge through those hips, press into the heels. As you stand, make sure you're getting all the way tall. Don't let those weights pull you down.
And as a modification, you can continue to stand and do the hip hinge using the chair, or you can add a weight using one hand as a handhold and just doing a single arm
weight hold.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna add some upper body to this movement. As I stand, I'm going to lift those weights and press to the ceiling, bringing them down. As I sit, return to the chair. Hinge at the elbows first. Press tall as you stand over those shoulders. Be sure to control that lowering of the weight. Curl, press. Curl, press. One more here. Press up tall, slow lower and return. So next we're going to be adding a rotation as we do that overhead press. So what that will look like will be a stand, hinge at the elbows, press and rotate, and slow return to sit. Stand, curl, press, and rotate. Now this should feel comfortable. You shouldn't have pain, but we want a good rotation through that spine as you stand nice and tall.
As another modification, instead of holding the chair, you can take your feet wider for a more stable base of support and use the weight in both hands.
Let's do one more each side here. To the right. Strong stance, and press through the left rotation. All right, great job. So I'm going to stay standing here. Move this chair out of our way. So we're going to go into a flow where we kind of add on more exercises to the move as we go. So we're going to start simple. We're going to start with bicep curls, kind of like we just did for part of our overhead press. You want to keep those elbows to your side. You don't want to be overly lifting from the shoulders here. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3. Keep those palms facing up. Last one. Great. So now what we're going to add here is that overhead press. So you're going to do a curl and press overhead nice and tall onto the ceiling. Curl and press. Notice how when I lower that weight, I'm hinging from my elbows. I'm not just dropping that weight to the side. Remember that tall, strong posture. Now, if your shoulders start to get a little tired, you can always lower to lighter weight, or you can drop your weights. That's perfectly okay. Let's do 2 more. 1. And last one here. Okay. So we're going to come back to that hip hinging that we did with our sit-to-stands here. So we're going to start with a hip hinge with our weights coming down towards the floor. Now notice how my back stays nice and straight, my hips go back, and my weight comes to my heels. Then I'm going to come up tall, press those, do that bicep press, and come overhead. All right, so we're gonna hinge, up nice and tall, curl and press. You know, go as far as your body will allow you to. A little gentle knee bend is encouraged there. And you can always take the hinge out if you're noticing any pain with the movement. Let's do one more here. Hinge, curl, and press. Good. Okay. So we're going to take the hinge out, but we're going to still start with that bicep curl. So for our next one, you're going to do a bicep curl, overhead press, step forward with the right foot. Lower the weights and return. Curl, step with that right foot, provide that weight shift, and return. It's a little bit of a balance challenge to do that weight shift towards that right foot. And if you feel a little unsteady, just doing a simple step with maybe less of a weight shift off the back foot is fine. Let's do two more. Last one here. Great. All right. So we're going to switch. We're going to do the same thing with a left step. We're going to start with the curl, press, and weight shift to that left foot. Remember to stay tall as you shift that weight forward. We'll go for three more here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, we have one more thing to add to our flow. So we're going to come back to that right foot. We're still doing that forward step, but we're going to add a little bit of a balance challenge. So you're going to do a bicep curl, step and press, drive the knee, press, and return. Bicep curl, press and step, drive the knee, press, and return. Curl, step and press, drive the knee, press, and return. Now you can always modify by assuming the position that Julie is in. Oop, I need to restart here. Curl, press, drive. So one modification for this could be that curl, press and step, lift of the foot, so not quite doing that full drive there. All right, let's come on to the other side. So same thing, we're doing that curl, press and step with the left, drive the knee, press, and return. Curl, step and press, drive the knee, press, and return. Let's do 3 more reps here. 3, 2. It's a little difficult to coordinate. And 1. Oh, great job.
That was a great flow.
I'm breaking a sweat.
Me too.
Okay, so we're going to do a few exercises here, a little balance burst to focus more on still holding the weights for a little strength training, but we're going to be focusing more on that balance. Julie will be over here modifying, making the balance exercise a little bit easier, or using the chair to help correct her balance if needed. So we're going to start with our weights at our side. You can most definitely put the weights down if you need a break, or if your arms need a break. So we are going to do a toe raise and heel raise, kind of coming back to that warm-up weight shift through our toes. So kind of reorienting ourselves and getting used to that transfer of weight. Then we're going to add a hip strategy where you bring those hips forward as you come up on your toes, bring those hips back as you lift the toes. You can get the arms involved here to help balance that center of weight. So we're learning how to find our balance. So have a chair nearby, and it's okay if you lose your balance as long as you have something to hold on to. All right, great job on that one. Okay, so now we're going to come into a tandem stance. So what that looks like is one foot in front of the other, kind of in a row. So I'm starting with my left foot in front. Either way is fine, we'll do both. You're gonna first just start with a shift to the front foot, shift to the back foot, and moving that weight forward and back. And then to add to the challenge, I'm gonna take my right foot, come in front of my left, and then behind my left. We're doing 5 here. So that's 2.
As you can see, I'm just doing a little bit wider base of support, and I have the chair as needed. I may not need both. You might not need both at home.
Great. Okay. All right. We're going to switch. So I'm going to have my right foot in front, my left foot behind. And I'm doing that same weight shift to start. Just getting used to that position before I make it harder on myself. And then I can add that step in front with my left, step behind with my left. Let's do 2 more times. 1, and last one here. Forward and back. Awesome. All right, so we could put one of those weights down. I'm just going to hold on to one here, and we're going to find a narrow base of support, which might be different for the individual. Some of you may have feet together, or feet apart might be a challenge enough for this exercise. We can come back to that tandem stance. If you're a little more advanced, you might be able to do this one on one foot. So you have to find what is a balance challenge for you. I'm going to come in a tandem stance with my right foot in front, and I'm going to take this weight and I'm going to circle it around my waist. You might feel those ankles kind of adjusting and trying to stabilize. Make sure to stay tall as you take that weight around. And then let's switch directions. You know, and you can slow down, you know, go your own pace with this. Balance is not about speed, it's about control. Last circle here. Then we've got to do the other side. So I'm going to put my left foot in front here. And you know, maybe taking the weight around the waist is too difficult. You could just do some static balance here, trying to hold this position for 30 seconds.
Or just take the weight from behind to back and front on the same side without going all the way behind.
I'm switching directions here. Let's finish off this one. 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. We're going to come into a stride stance now, which is just 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind, a little wider support than you were just standing in your tandem. And we're going to do some halos. So instead of going around your waist, you're going to be taking that weight and going around your head, kind of like a crown. So I'm going to go 5 times this direction.
I'm going to demonstrate first in just a wide base of support.
Last one. And reverse it. So you're getting a little bit of shoulder work here.
Try to avoid leaning your head forward to get the weight behind you. So just do the best you can without compromising that good stance, strong posture position.
All right, let's switch legs. Let's put that left foot in front. Same thing. Julie made a good point. You want to keep that nice tall posture with this as those shoulders are, as you're kind of working that weight over your head.
Just another variation is to do it in sitting. It's a good core challenge if you work on keeping your nice upright posture and try not to twist or side bend as you move the weight around.
All right, let's reverse it. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job. So now Julie's going to take on the more difficult exercises and I'll be modifying.
You're going to keep a single dumbbell for these this next flow. I'm going to start in a stride stance with my left foot in front and the weight in my right hand. I'm going to start in a bent forward from the side, what that looks like. In a hinge, chest is lifting up, and I'll start with a row up to the side. We're driving that elbow high towards the ceiling, keeping the shoulders open, trying to avoid pushing the shoulder down towards the floor as the elbow goes up. Let's do 4 more here. Your gaze can be just at a comfortable angle down. And 2 more. And on this last one, we're going to hold that up position. We're going to add a triceps extension. Return through the row. Row up, tricep extension, and return through the row. Keeping your body squared towards the floor to avoid any rotation through the upper body. And 1 more here of that tricep extension. And then we'll bring it up again, but just hold that tricep extension position. And we're just going to repeat the tricep portion of the exercise 10 times. 3, 4, 5, keeping the elbow high and that shoulder pull back. 7, just 3 more. 9 and 10. Good job. Stand up for just a second to give yourself a break if needed. We're going to keep that same weight in the right hand, and we're going to return to that bent forward position for a lateral raise through the shoulder. So we're starting with the arm straight down at your side. We're going to raise it up to the side. Let's do about 6 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to continue with that and add a rotation through the trunk. So it looks like this. Arm up and rotate and all the way back through. Arm up and rotate for 2, 3, 4. 2 more. Keep lifting up and in on the abdominals to support your spine. And last one here. Good job. Woo. We're going to stay in the same position. If you need to march it out a little bit, that's fine. But left leg in front. I'll turn to face the camera now for this next one. And we're gonna chop wood. So I'll start with the weight over my right shoulder, and I'm chopping down towards my left knee.
And as a modification, I'm just holding on to the chair.
So the first set, we'll do standing nice and upright, lifting the chest towards the ceiling, most of this coming from the arms, good core control, keeping the body in the same position. Let's do 2 more like this, and then we'll add a squat or a bend movement to it. Okay, are you ready? Here comes the bend. So both knees are gently bending as you drive that axe down into the wood that you're chopping. Try to keep your knees over your toes. And let's do 2 more. And last one. All right, that felt good. I think we should even up and do it all again on the other side. So my right leg is now in front and the weight's in my left hand. We're gonna start in that bent over position to do the row.
I need to get in the
You're
right
gonna do it
position.
sitting, aren't you? So I'm bent over, Katie's gonna sit, and we're gonna row. Drive that elbow up to the side. We'll do that 10 times. 3, 4, 5. Again, lifting the chest up nice and high, avoiding stoop posture, even though we're bent over. And I think that may have been about 10. So we're gonna add the tricep extension to it. Row, extend, return through the row. We'll do that 6 times. Here's 2. Drive up, drive back, and pass back through the row. Just 2 more times, hang in there. And last one. Now let's stay here and just focus on that triceps extension for 10. So here's number 4 already. 5, keep the elbow high, keep the shoulders wide. And last one. Good job. Stand up, stretch it out just for a second. We're going to return to that position for the lateral shoulder raise. All right, are you ready? Hinge over, arms at your side, and you're reaching it high to the side. Good. 6 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep going, add the rotation. Here, and back down. A little bit of a balance challenge in standing to add this dynamic higher amplitude range. But see what you can do. If you need to make it a little smaller, that's fine. All right, good job. Now I think we got to finish chopping wood on this side. So my right leg is still in front. I'm going to start with the weight over my left shoulder. We'll do maybe 8 of these, chopping wood over to that right knee. We're starting in an upright position, nice and tall.
And again, I'm holding on to the chair as a modification here. So if you're feeling off balance, this is a good option.
And there's 8. Now we're going to add the bend. So both knees bend as you're chopping that wood. 2, 3. Good job. How low can you go? Can you chop that wood down to the floor? See what you can do, keeping those knees and toes aligned and using the hips to bring you back up. And of course, I've lost count in true fashion, so let's do 1 more. Great job. So we're going to pick up a second weight for this next series. I'm going to pull my chair out of the way. I'm going to start with just arm raises overhead. All right, let's just do this 8 times. Good. This is number 3. You can do this with a narrow base of support or a wider base of support. You can even go into stride stance or a tandem stance if you want the extra balance challenge while you're here. Katie, what say you? Does that feel like 8?
My shoulders are saying so.
Shoulders are saying that's 8. Okay, we're gonna move on and add a lunge to it. One arm goes with a lunge. Katie's gonna demonstrate, I think, a stationary lunge.
Right.
Or holding on, okay. So I'm gonna lunge to the side and my left arm's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do that same side again. I'll do 5. This is 3. Keep your chest up. Rib cage on top of the pelvis, and here's 5. And then the other side. 2, 3, 4, good job, and 5. For this next set of exercises, I'm just gonna hold the weights at my sides. My shoulders are feeling a pretty good burn about now, so let's give them a rest. But my legs could use a little bit more work. So I'll start with a forward lunge. And Katie's gonna demonstrate, I think again, a stationary lunge or a lunge holding onto the chair. Forward and back. Let's do 10 on the right leg. Stay out of your knee pain. If you have any, make sure the knee stays behind the toes. So it's more of a drop down than a drop forward. The back heel might leave the ground to do that. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Other leg. And here we go.
Now you still could hold a weight here if you wanted to. I'm just modifying without weight as I hold on to the back of the chair for a little stability.
This is 8. For those of you counting at home, I think I'm right. And here's 10. All right, I'm gonna put the weights down and we're gonna do a second balance burst.
Sorry, the chair is loud.
It is, it sure is. I'm gonna do multi-directional stepping, shifting my weight and trying to balance into a single leg stance at the end of my weight shift. And Katie's gonna demonstrate the weight shift version without the single leg stance. So we're gonna go forward, to the side, and then to the back, and repeat. Right leg first. To the side, balance, and then a step back. Balance. Again to the front, side, and back. So my version is very dynamic. We have to work on decelerating into multi-directions while trying to hold that stability on one leg. Katie's testing the limit of her weight shift stability without going into the single leg. Last set, I think that should do about 5 sets around the world there. And last one to the back. Of course, got to even us out or else we're walking around in a circle the rest of the day. So I'm going to go forward on the left to a single leg balance, now to the side, to a single leg balance, and to the back. Balancing if I can. You could also just raise the foot behind you without driving it into that high amplitude like this, and just raise it in a smaller height. Doesn't throw you off balance as much as a drive. But it's still a good challenge. 2 more sets around the world, and we've got this balance burst wrapped up in a bag. Give it a go. Find your limit, and you might need to do these slower at home.
Almost there. We've almost made it through the workout.
I think we've made it through our second balance burst, and I'm ready for a cool down. How about you?
My shoulders are feeling it. My legs are feeling it.
I'm sweating a little bit. So I'll just start in standing. Katie might show standing or sitting for variation as needed for the cool down. We did a lot of work through the upper traps and through the neck muscles potentially, so we're just going to start with some head turns to loosen that up. So to the right, and all the way back around and to the left. We're not trying to get as far as you can go. We're just trying to loosen up those muscles of the neck that were used a whole lot with those overhead presses that we did earlier. Good. Now let's just do one more in each direction. All right, same idea. We'll just tilt the head to the side and back through center and to the other side. Get taller each time you come back through center. Tilt to the side, lengthen up through that center. Think of one ear going up as the other ear drops down. That'll help you find a little bit more segmental movement through the spine, something we don't normally do. Good, one more each way. This one. All right, I'm just gonna stretch out the arms a little bit. I'm gonna reach across my shoulder. The other hand is just to help give it a little support. I'm just going to stretch on and off very gently, about 5 of these. I'm not really pushing into strain, just trying to elongate those muscles after all the work that they did. And then other side. It does kind of feel good.
My shoulders needed this.
You made me work with those overhead presses. All right, and if you can, we're gonna try an overhead reach with a shoulder press. So from the side, it is pressing it up and back. Try not to push the head forward as the arm comes back. So it's okay if you don't get all the way up there. And then other side. Hey, while you're up there, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back, because y'all did a great job. Okay, so my arms feel a little bit like they're starting to cool down. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the lower body and do a hamstring stretch. So in standing, it's a little balance challenge. I'm gonna kick one foot forward and just hinge at the hips until I feel a nice comfortable stretch up the back of my leg. I'm gonna keep lifting that chest up and pulling my hips back to get that stretch, and just taking a nice deep breath while you're here.
And I'm sitting in the chair, making sure I hinge through my hips here, not slump at my back to get that extra hamstring stretch, pulling my toes up.
All right, even us out on the other side. Left foot forward, hinge from the hips, keep lifting up through the chest, through the spine. That pulls the higher portion of the hamstring to the back. And if you want a little added stretch, you can lift the toes up and it'll go into your calf muscles a little bit there. Just a couple breaths. All right. And then to stretch our calf, I'm just going to use the chair for balance. I guess Katie can show that part. Let's put the right foot in back and the left foot in front. So the right heel stays down on the ground. Go ahead and take a peek if your foot's aimed forward or if it's aimed out to the side. So we want it to try to aim in the direction that your body's facing. Just lean into it until you feel a comfortable stretch. Try to really push that back knee straight and reach that heel into the ground to elongate that calf muscle complex. Again, just a couple of breaths here. Help with the cool down, and we'll switch to the other side. So left foot in back, right foot in front, line it up, make sure it's not toeing out. Reach that knee straight, stretch the heel for the ground. Chest is nice and tall, just taking a nice comfortable breath in. And another. All right. And finally, after those lunges, my quads need a little bit of love. So I'm going to demonstrate a standing quad stretch. Get hold on to something for balance. I'm going to reach for my ankle and stretch like so. Not all of you are going to be able to do this.
I'm sitting in my chair here, kind of turned to the side, letting my knee drop on that right to get some elongation of my quad. And a little bit of my hip flexor here as well.
Keep pointing the kneecap down towards the floor, reaching it away from your hip, and that'll help elongate that muscle. I'm ready to switch sides, Katie.
All right.
How about you?
Let's finish
All right.
it up.
I'm going to try to do this without holding on.
Picked the hard one.
My chair's on the wrong side, so I'll finish up with this one. Nice and tall, again, pointing my knee towards the floor to help elongate the muscles of my quadricep, and maybe getting a little bit in that front of the hip. That looks like it feels great. I'm gonna set it down before I fall over.
All right.
That was awesome, Katie, thank you.
Thank you all again for joining us for Parkinson's Foundation PD Health at Home Fitness Friday video series. For information about the Parkinson's disease exercise recommendations as a prescription for people with Parkinson's, please visit parkinson.org/exercise.
See you next time.